Halloween!
Oh, right. Yes, because
Spooky culmination
yes,
to the spooky season.
the end of spooky season with our Halloween. Do you know what you're dressing up as this year?
So I have several costumes because I'm working
Right.
on Halloween, actual Halloween, and then on Saturday of Halloween weekend. So I'm dressing up for work. So I have 3 options.
Oh, okay.
I have a hippie,
Nice.
which I would have to borrow your pink round
Oh,
glasses
yeah,
for,
definitely.
but I feel like you'd be okay with that.
Yes.
But you know that all floral thing that I pant and top thing that I wore for my birthday?
Yes.
And
Yes.
then I figure long Janis Joplin hair and those glasses could be a good
Yes, I like that.
peace, love, and
Because I like that outfit too. I like this plan.
yeah, and it's elastic waistband, so it's
Even better.
comfy. And I figure I'll wear like a tank top underneath, so if I get hot from like the long sleeves, I'll
Yeah.
just...
It's supposed to be cold on...
On Saturday?
Oh, you're thinking for Saturday. Okay, no.
Yeah.
Then Saturday it's supposed to still be warm. But the actual Halloween Tuesday is supposed to be cold again.
Okay, and then I have like a little bit of a David Bowie tribute
Oh, right, yes.
that, so if the other girl I'm working with does her Prince costume, but she's waiting to see if she gets it in time.
Right.
Or we're just going to be zombies.
I like it.
So those are my 3 options, which I've never, you know me, I'm like so not a planner. So I've never had 3 options before in my life. It's a little weird,
Yeah.
but
See, I told you just needed to think of like something that you owned.
yeah.
That, like, that's how I like plan every costume. It's just like if I don't have something specific that I like want to do,
wanna be.
then I think of like something that I have that I could like create a costume into.
Yeah, well, I have the red jumpsuit for the Bowie costume.
Right.
And then, like, face paint. And I was going to put, like, a glitter in my hair and make it kind of like a fake mullet.
Yeah. Well, and the face paint, like, that
sells it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I got fake blood.
Oh, for the zombie.
Yeah, and so I figure I'll just take one of my, like, rattier white t-shirts and you can help me make it bloody.
Nice.
Because you're better at that shit than I am.
Do you have a favorite costume that you've ever worn?
That I've ever worn? Kind of. Just because I felt really clever. So, in college, my boyfriend went to UCSB, which is like, their Halloween party is like
Crazy.
fucking
I've been
stupid.
to it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's always freezing because
Yeah.
it's like right on the beach, and so it's always super cold. And it's basically just like girls in lingerie and heels
Yeah.
walking around this street going to parties. And I thought the first year I went, I thought it was so dumb. So the next year I dressed up. I bought like a full arm, full length bodysuit that was skin color.
Uh-huh.
And then I painted like on it to
Uh-huh.
make me look totally naked. And so I was a nude painting and my boyfriend was an artist.
Nice.
But the girls were all like walking around in pasties, like shivering their like asses
You're
off,
like,
and I'm nice and toasty.
Yeah, you're like, I'm actually fully covered.
And I was even more naked than they were.
Have you ever heard of or gone to Pageant of the Masters?
Yeah, with you.
Oh yeah, duh, I forgot about that. With your poor broken foot.
Yeah.
That reminds me of Pageant of the Masters. Like,
Oh
how,
yeah,
like,
because
they like paint themselves to like become a painting.
Yeah. What about you? What's like your favorite Halloween costume you've ever done?
You know which one I thought was really clever, and we have like actually 0 photos from that night, was when you, me, and Roxy did Dead Disney Princesses.
Oh yeah, that one was fun too.
So I was the beauty who had been mauled by the beast.
I was Ariel if she didn't make it to the surface, if she drowned on her way up.
Yeah, and then Roxy was Snow White if she had been murdered by the dwarfs.
Yeah.
And then she had like carved.
She went really hardcore. It was
really great.
Dark.
Yeah. And I remember like doing like just like slashing up like a yellow dress and doing like slash marks.
Yeah, I like sewed you back into it.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It was
I like cut it apart and then we like
destroyed it.
Stitched it back together. Yeah. I like those kind of costumes too that like require some sort of like sewing or like creation. Like I've never been I've definitely worn like straight out of the package like from like a Halloween store costume, but those were never my favorite.
No, those are always like whatever.
And I feel like I've always like even altered those, like had to like add like personal touches to it so it wasn't just like straight out of a bag.
Are you dressing up this year?
No. New York is a really fun place to be for Halloween because they've got the Halloween parade, which is something I love to watch every year too.
The parade is cool.
And like the city just goes all out. Like even just like walking around on Halloween day because you see all the kids running around.
Yeah.
And then if you go out like later, even if you're not going out, like if you go and grab dinner or something, like the subway is just filled with costumes.
Right. Yeah.
Everybody just tends to go all out, which is really fun.
It is fun.
And I love any excuse to dress up. We got Halloween nails on.
You do have Halloween nails.
This is my effort into.
I wore, well, except for this, but I wore all black for our Halloween.
Nice.
This was my effort.
Maybe I'm dressed. I should have put my hair in pigtails with the overalls.
Yeah, you could have been Chucky.
Does Chucky wear overalls? I should know that.
I think so.
I think so too.
Because I wore overalls one time at work and this guy kept calling me Chucky. And I was like, don't do that.
That's rude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Just don't.
Like, just because I'm wearing overalls and I have red hair, don't.
I know. Don't be like.
So rude.
Hairist. Gingerist.
Oh, hairist. I was like, what is this word you're saying?
But no, yeah, I also do always love like doing like a redhead costume.
Do you have a favorite Halloween candy?
Ooh, I feel like it changes. When I was a kid, I was really into Three Musketeers.
Oh, okay.
I know, bit of a dark horse there.
Yeah, that was not what I was expecting.
But I would say now I really like the like Reese's Pumpkins.
Oh my gosh, that's. Oh,
I know you're into
my
those
favorite.
Too. Not to steal your thunder, but.
Well, they now make bats and ghosts too.
I don't care what shape it is.
Yep.
I feel like the peanut butter to chocolate ratio is much better.
Perfect. It's perfect.
Than in the cups.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
I like those.
Yeah, those are definitely one of my. Those are like what I'm buying for myself on Halloween.
Yeah.
If I was like trick or treating, I always liked getting like candy that I wouldn't necessarily buy for myself, so that I could like try new things without having to like have an entire bag's worth.
How adventurous of you as a child.
Oh, well, yeah, this is, I mean, I was like done eating off the kids' menu at like 5, like.
Okay, bougie.
No, I'll take the salmon and asparagus, please. I don't want chicken fingers.
I still want chicken fingers. Yeah, I also went through like a fruit candy, like Skittles or like Starburst phase. And I feel like every once in a while, like now, I'll be like, I want some Starburst randomly.
Yeah, like I bought that bag of Mambo.
Oh, yeah.
Which kind of
Fruity,
scratched that itch. Have you ever done any, like, of the haunted, anything like attractions or mazes or hay rides or...
It's not really my jam, Jen. It's not my thing. I don't really like to be scared. I feel like there was one, like, in someone's house one time that I did, or like a, like, neighborhood fair or something.
Yeah.
That was like a little more legitimate.
Block party.
Because I do feel like I have like a memory that I've pushed way deep down of having had that experience. But I may also just be thinking of all the years that I watched Legends of the Hidden Temple and
Fair.
extrapolating that onto myself.
Okay.
I know, like, corn mazes and all that shit is, like, right up your alley, though.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you've done that a million times.
Yeah, I guess, like, because I, like, grew up living near Knott's Berry Farm, and they have Knott's Scary Farm.
Right.
And so it was just, like, something that everyone kind of went and did at some point
Yeah.
in high school. And so I went a couple of times in high school with friends, because
Mhm.
it's just, like, what you did. Even though I was terrified. Like, I have memories of, like, being chased by, like, a giant Frankenstein.
Oh
just,
my
like,
god.
you just, like, see me running, and then this, like, giant, like, on stilts or on, like, platform shoes
Yeah.
or something, just, like, clobbering behind me. Just, like, I'm sure I made everyone who worked there's day. Like, it just...
Oh my god.
I was definitely one of the people that was always, like, screaming and freaking out and, like...
Yeah.
But it was also really fun, and they have, like, Knott's Scary Farm is fun because they do, like, theme mazes, like, sometimes based on, like, movies.
Mm-hmm.
So the, like, level of, like, set decor is really on point. And so
Okay.
that's, like, really fun. It's kind of like Sleep No More.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, because that's, like, the closest to one of those that
Yeah.
I've done.
Yeah.
Which it's kind of similar, because they do, like,
It's-
kind of grab you and take you off into little places. and-
Yeah, it's
There's
you know,
creepy
Sleep No
shit.
More with jump scares and fog.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
Am I making this up since, you know, but, like, does Knott's Scary Farm do, like, they do, like, an adult version, like, later at night?
Okay, so Knott's Scary Farm is the, like, scary one. That's, like, it's not adults only, but it's, like, I think there might be, like, like, you can't be younger than 10 or something like that.
Okay.
During the day, they have, like, Snoopy's Pumpkin Patch
Right,
or
yeah.
something like that for, like,
Okay.
all ages, but at night it turns into Knott's Scary Farm, which is where they have, like, specialty mazes
Yeah.
and, like, sections where they've just fogged up the place so you literally can't see your hand in front of your face, and then people run out of the fog at you, or they have these, like, metal knee pads and they run and slide on their knees.
Oh my
so you just
God.
hear this, like, metal against cement and see sparks.
Oh my god.
It's terrifying.
That's like living in The Walking Dead.
Yeah, a little bit.
But
But see, on the other end of the spectrum is, which I've never been to, and I don't think I'll ever go, is Universal Studio has one, but theirs is very gory and gross, and I don't really want any part of that.
no, I don't really need that in my life.
There are some, like, haunt, like, attractions, like you were
Mhm.
saying that you have a friend who goes to them where you have to sign waivers.
Yeah, because, like, they can touch you and, like, put you in a fucking coffin or something stupid. I'm like, why would you pay money to do that?
Right? That seems terrifying.
That's
like,
awful.
Absolutely not. Yeah, I like the ones that are jump scares and, like, based on movies or whatever. I went to one once with Katie, actually,
Mm-hmm.
a few years ago at, like, a local amusement park in Connecticut.
Uh-huh.
That they had, like, a haunted maze that they do, like, separate, that you can buy a ticket for, and it was really fun. It was, like, lots of jump scares and lots of creepy, like, there was, like mini corn maze section, but with, like, a guy and a chainsaw chasing you, like,
Okay.
they had lots of, like, cool, like, effects with, like, smoke and lasers and things that, like, you know, were disorienting, so it was, like, not gross things, it was just, like, good jump scares. But I swear to God, it was the longest maze I've ever gone through. It was, like, 20 or 30 straight minutes, and I was like,
Am I getting out of here ever?
and just, like, that level of adrenaline for, like, 30 straight minutes, I was like, oh my God.
I've done, like, some, like, hedge mazes or, like, I don't know, like, mazes in, like
Like at the pumpkin patch, like
or-
the corn
or,
maze
like,
or whatever.
historical music, like that
okay.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I've definitely been like, it gets to a point where you're like, am I gonna get out of here?
Like, am I?
When do I send up a flare to come get me?
Yeah, like how much more? Yeah, well, and then with the jump scares, you're like, how many more of these can my heart take?
Yeah.
Like, where are? Yeah.
So I totally know that anxiety
that
you get where you're like, is this ever gonna end?
Yeah. So yeah, you add that with like actual people with chainsaws chasing you, and
no thanks, I'm good.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but you've done like scary things, like you've jumped out of an airplane, like that's like arguably more terrifying. Yeah,
I guess. I mean, I also just don't like feeling like I can't do something. You know, like I'm not gonna hold myself back. I feel like I could handle doing like a scary Halloween maze. I just don't want to. Jumping out of an airplane or like cliff diving or things like that, I'm like, can I do it? And then I make myself do it.
Do you enjoy it while you're doing it?
Not really.
Or after or anything?
I mean, afterwards there's like a sense of accomplishment. Like, go me. I did that shit. But
yeah,
I'm good. I don't know. I won't be put in a box even by myself. But no, I would go. I mean, if we found like a good one around here, I would go do one with you.
Yeah, I haven't done one in
You'd have to hold my hand though.
Oh yeah, I don't go through them without like literally clinging to somebody else for dear life.
Perfect.
Like,
perfect.
I need like that sense of like somebody's in this with me.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't. There's some I've read about that you go through it alone.
No.
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Okay. Well, I feel like I would do one with you then.
Yeah. Because they are fun. Like, anything to get your adrenaline going.
Yeah.
Like, that obviously, like, is fun.
Right. Yeah. Okay, you've convinced me.
Have you seen, there's, like, it's, like, gone viral. There's a jump scare at the end of one of the mazes somewhere. They put a compilation video together because they take video of this final jump scare.
Oh my god.
And it's hilarious watching people like climb up the walls, like trying to get away from whatever it is that's like
god,
crashing
no,
towards them.
I have not seen this.
It's worth. I'll have to find it.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's funny.
Laughing at other people's terror.
Yeah, most of the ones that I like because of like the set decoration.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I appreciate like that level of detail.
Yeah.
Like those ones I think are the most fun.
Okay.
So there's like same thing like with Sleep No More. You're
Yeah.
Getting to explore a little bit. Except in the mazes, you're kind of running.
Okay.
So
I'll work on my cardio before we go.
You're running or you're creeping.
I've got a year to prepare.
Yeah.
It's like for a marathon or something.
That reminds me, it was totally off topic, but talk about should have prepared the world's biggest bounce house.
Oh my god, the one we did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it was a giant bounce house mazes.
Yeah.
That was such a good workout.
It was really intense.
It was really hard.
I mean, it didn't help that it had been pouring rain.
No.
So it was we were ankle deep in water the whole time.
Yeah, that was kind of a disaster. I mean, it was warm out, so that was fine,
but
it was gross.
It was super gross, but that was fun.
That was really fun.
But yeah, no, we
That's
definitely
a crazy workout.
We did definitely after, so there was the 3 sections, and we definitely took breathers and got some water in between.
Okay, let's take a breather.
Oh my god, that was fun.
That was really fun.
I looked up kind of the history of Halloween.
Oh, okay.
So it goes way the fuck back.
Yeah.
We're talking Celtic before the Romans, before the Christians, before the before. So
yeah, it's pagan.
Straight up.
Yeah.
So starts with the Celts, thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
And basically their New Year was November 1st because that was when it started getting cold and was kind of the end of the harvest and the year.
Yeah.
which kind of makes a lot more sense than January 1st, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Neither here nor there. So, but they believed that the day before, so like New Year's Eve, October 31st was when it was like the veil between realms, like of the living and the dead, was the most like fluid.
Okay, which that goes right in with November 1st and Dios de los Muertos.
Dia de los Muertos.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, and they would, to celebrate, they'd like light these like giant bonfires, and they'd wear animal costumes.
Right.
And tell each other's fortunes.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, so that was like how they celebrated. So then it's called Samhain.
Oh,
It's
okay.
spelled totally differently, but there was a pronunciation guide. Samhain. So the Romans come in, and then they're like, well, this shit is kind of similar to our shit. So in order to like keep you druid people down, we're gonna just combine them all.
Right.
So they combined Samhain with Feralia, which was, I guess, supposedly earlier in October,
Okay.
which was their celebration of the dead. And then the day of the goddess Pomona, who I didn't know that there was a goddess Pomona, so
Yeah.
every day's a school day, even
Yeah,
for
seriously.
nerds like me.
City of Pomona. Who would have guessed?
Right? And her symbol was the apple, and so some people think that that's why we do bobbing for apples
Oh, okay.
to this day, on why that's a Halloween thing.
Okay. Interesting.
Then the Christians come in,
Right.
and All Saints Day was actually May 13th.
Oh.
But they moved it to November 1st to keep the infidels down.
Yep, as they do.
And so now we celebrate All Saints Day with all these other holidays.
Right.
But now we dress up as saints and angels and demons.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And start calling it All Souls Day instead of All Saints Day to keep, the rabble from rabbling.
Right.
Rabble rousing.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah.
I got there. And but the word, like, Halloween actually is from the Middle English of All Souls Day, which was All Hallows Mass or All Hallows Eve. So that's how we get Halloween.
Got it.
And then in the 1920s and 30s, Halloween parties become a thing, and they're like, we don't give a shit about the religious significance anymore, and they're not really.
They're like, this was really a fun idea to dress up and
get drunk.
Yeah.
So they becomes like more like community based,
Okay.
and also less scary.
Oh.
And then by the 1950s, it becomes a kids' holiday, with like trick or treating and stuff, because baby boomers, there were a lot of kids running around.
Right. And we were like, we need to do something.
Yeah, keep them. Let's keep them under wraps by giving them copious amounts of sugar.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy that, like, we've all collectively as a nation agreed that on this night,
Yeah.
like, if you leave your light on, that you're going to be handing out candy.
Yeah.
And we're all okay with it, and we all do it, and, like, yeah, there's been some fake stories about razor blades and drugs and
Right.
candy, but, like, that's not true, and
Right.
nobody's giving away their drugs.
Yeah, I actually read that the only time that someone actually put razor blades or poison in candy was a guy who was trying to kill his own kids. And
Great.
he put poison in their Halloween candy.
And that's where
it all comes from.
yeah, that makes sense.
So, wasn't strangers.
Yeah.
It was
It's always
a murdery dad.
Have you ever lived anywhere haunted?
I haven't lived anywhere haunted. My mom's best friend swears that her house is haunted.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like in a very specific area
Of her house.
of the house. And there's like a room right off this hallway. And so whenever she does like tarot card readings and shit, she does all the spooky stuff in the room that's like right off the haunted part of the
Right.
house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She just leans into it.
She leans hard into it.
Yeah.
So, I, though, didn't know about this until recently, and I've never had an experience walking down that hallway, so
There you go.
heavy dose of skepticism on that one.
Yeah. I'm surprised we didn't stay anywhere or go anywhere, like, classically haunted on our road trip.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've been, like, when I went to, up to, like, I was in somewhere in, like, Massachusetts.
Uh-huh.
And we went to this, like, old haunted tavern for dinner.
Oh, that would be fun.
Right?
We did stay, I think, in Wales. I went on, like, for a family vacation.
Uh-huh.
And we stayed in a haunted castle.
Oh.
And, like, I've actually, like, seen it on, like, those ghost hunter TV
Right.
shows. It's, like, supposedly the most haunted castle in, like, Great Britain.
That's crazy.
And they had us staying, like, up in the crazy-ass attic.
Oh, wow. Did they, when you stayed there, tell you ghost stories, like, about the property? Like, did you know in staying there at that time?
I mean, we knew before we booked it that that's
Yeah.
what it was. And, like, I'm sure that they did. This was a really long time ago. So I don't remember any of the ghost stories, but I do remember that, like, shit was making all sorts of noises and craziness with the lights and stuff. And my dad is, like, passed out like a dead person in the bed that my sister and I were supposed to share.
Right.
And my mom and me and my sister were awake, like, just, like, watching, like, on, like, a tablet, like, I guess
Right.
it wasn't that long ago there was the internet, but, like,
Yeah.
no, we were on, like, a computer, like, DVDs, watching movies
Oh, my gosh.
on our computer
Just,
and
like-
did not sleep the entire night.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of fun, but also not if you're up the entire night.
I know, we were so freaked out. So, yeah, so I'm sure there were, like, they told us, like,
Yeah.
some ghost stories to
Yeah.
get us into that frenzied state.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, like, half the room, my dad's like, turn the lights off. We're like, absolutely not.
No.
You lose this battle.
No, this place is haunted. We're
So-
sleeping with the lights on.
That was my one haunted experience.
That's awesome.
What about, but, like, what is this dinner? Was it like,
No, nothing happened. It was like a cool, like, super, super old,
Yeah.
like, had been there since, like, you know,
right.
however long. And so that was cool, and they had, like, you know, the story on the menu or
Mhm.
whatever, and, like, where supposed, like, sightings had been. So it was just, like, cool. I mean, we didn't see anything.
Yeah.
Nothing happened, but it was fun.
Yeah, I feel like, honestly, what happened in my haunted experience, if we hadn't known it was haunted, it would have just been, like, old fucking castle.
Yeah.
Like, bad wiring and, like,
Yeah, you would have
the
written
house
it all
is
off.
settling. But,
Yeah.
like, because we knew it was haunted, it was like,
This is happening. But my parents' house is haunted. Like,
oh, yeah, you've told me this.
Yeah.
I've never stayed the night at your parents' house, so I don't know.
yeah, it doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes you can smell, like, old lady perfume.
Old lady perfume?
Yeah, it smells like very distinct, like, old lady perfume, and you get like a whiff of it, and sometimes I'll forget, and I'll get like a whiff of it and be like, what, like, weird, gross old lady potpourri do you have in the house, Mom? And she's like, it's not what that is. It's very weird. So yeah, like, scents, like phantom scents are very strange. And, like, I've felt like someone, like, sit down on the end of my bed. And I always, like, you know, for a while I just figured it was like a cat or a dog or,
Yeah,
you know, an
an
animal. But sometimes you would feel it, and then I'd, like, sit up to look, and there wouldn't be an animal there.
That's weird.
Yeah. And, like, things move around sometimes. It's not, like, all the time. It's not, like, super, super haunted.
It's pretty super haunted.
But it's happened more than once. So, but it'll happen, like, really far apart. So then it'll, like, when it happens again, you've, like, kind of forgotten. And you're like, what's that smell? Oh, right. Again, I remember this.
I've never noticed that at your house. I hope not to.
Yeah, it's not like a daily occurrence. It's not like if you were to stay over, you would absolutely experience something.
Right.
Like, I go home for the holidays and nothing will happen.
Not okay.
Yeah.
But it does. But it's there.
But it has, and we've all had separate experiences. When I was really little, I just like figured it was a ghost that followed you home from Disneyland, from the Haunted Mansion.
Oh, you just assumed that
Yeah,
that's how that went.
Yeah, that's the ghost follows you home.
Right, they say that.
So I was just like, oh, that just must be my friendly ghost that followed me home. That's like what made sense.
Oh my god.
And then later, as I like got like, you know, older elementary school, I like brought it up with my dad, and he had like similar experiences too, and I was like, oh, okay.
Creepy.
Yep. Did your like family celebrate Halloween? Did you have like trick-or-treating with cousins, or like was it one of the holidays you got together on?
No. We lived pretty like far from the rest of my family, so I mean like an hour and a half drive, but like too far to like combine for that. So I would say Halloween was not one of those ones. And like pretty much everything else fun that my parents do, they waited until I moved out to decide that October and Halloween was going to be, my mom's name starts with O. So it was like, O is my mom, is October, is Halloween. So now they like go all freaking out.
I've seen their Halloween costumes in the past.
And like their costumes and the decorations and all the jazz.
Yeah.
And yeah, that happened like post me in the house. Just like they decided that they were going to become gourmet chefs.
Right.
Now they do fun stuff for Halloween. And they have like a friend who does a huge Halloween party every year that they go to. But no, we didn't. Like, we would go trick-or-treating and stuff.
Yeah. Was your neighborhood good for trick-or-treating? Was it like...
You knew where to go.
Yeah.
There was, like, if you went down closer to, like, where the, like, nicer houses were, you knew all the places that gave out full-size candy bars and stuff. So...
Yeah, I remember, like, my neighborhood was, like, when I was little was really good. Like, everybody did, like, trick-or-treating.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, as I've gotten older and, like, when I was in high school even... just less and less kids in the neighborhood trick-or-treating, and so less and less people
doing it.
So now my parents' street is actually pretty quiet on Halloween. It's not like one of the... Because now, like, we saw it when I lived in Los Angeles in the Valley. I was in a neighborhood that they would, like, straight up like bring in van loads of children in because like lots of houses gave out full-size candy bars or just like gave out like extra candy. And I remember when I lived there that Halloween, I wasn't going to be home, but I came home from work just to change and leave. And like the kids in the neighborhood saw me come home and were all immediately like pounding on the door for candy, and I was like, there's no light on.
Oh my
like,
gosh.
I'm not home. I'm just changing really fast and leaving. Like, nobody's here.
Yeah, I feel like my parents have said that because like they obviously don't go to the party they're going to until later.
Right.
So they'll give out candy like during the day, and they say that it's like pretty bleak. There aren't a lot of kids anymore.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of kids just like, I don't know, just aren't doing the neighborhood. Like, there's a lot of like malls now or like shopping centers where you like can trick or treat. Which I remember doing that as a kid. Did you ever trick-or-treat at the mall?
No. Oh. We always trick-or-treated in the neighborhood.
I mean, I would do both.
Oh. Would, like, I didn't even know you could trick-or-treat. Like,
at Brea Mall.
Until I moved to New York, where, like, all the, like, businesses give candy out, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking, like, in the 80s. Brea Mall. Like, trick-or-treating store to store. And then after that, you would go trick-or-treating...
In your neighborhood,
yeah.
Okay.
It was great. Just come home with like bags of candy. Just ridiculous.
Yeah. Did you have to pay the candy tax?
I was never really precious about my candy. I wasn't like...
My dad would take all the good stuff though.
But so I was never like I had favorites, and so like they, you know, left those for the most part. And but I wasn't ever, well, and I also had, like, I didn't like anything coconut, so my dad would eat all of the mounds.
Oh, okay.
And, like, so there was definitely, like, didn't like Three Musketeers, but my mom loved those. So there was a, like, copacetic, symbiotic.
See, I love coconut and Three Musketeers, so we would have been great trick-or-treat partners.
I know, we would have traded, and it would have been perfect. But yeah, and then I remember the days of, like, back in, like, the 80s and 90s of trick-or-treating where neighbors would even, like, hand out, like, popcorn balls or, like,
oh yeah,
cookies.
Stuff they made.
Stuff they made. And
Yeah.
it was, like, at that point, if you knew the neighbor, then it was okay to eat. But, like, if you were, like, too far out of your own neighborhood or, like, didn't know the person because you were in someone else's neighborhood,
Yeah.
then you couldn't eat that.
That's probably smart.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, now in a post-COVID world, like, I go to,
yeah.
like, any sort of, like, open buffet sort of situation, I'm like, I can't.
I know too much.
I don't want to participate in this.
That's fair.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We've gotten older and wiser.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've lived a hard life. Getting miserly in our old age. I want that shit to be, like, vacuum sealed.
Yeah, I want my own personal, which is funny though, because I happily share food, but that's with, like, 1 or 2 other people.
Right, where you know most likely where they've been.
Yeah, and not, like, 10 other people. But I used to have no problem with that. Like,
yeah, I never really thought about it before.
Like, I
loved an all-you-could-eat buffet.
Seriously, like, Soup Plantation or a
Sizzler
or a Soup Exchange. What's soup in the title?
There's a lot of soup in the titles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
They
hadn't
had,
really
like, the
thought about
salad
that.
bar. Like, I can't go back. It's so sad. I'm never gonna go back to those places.
Yeah, my grandparents used to always take me those places.
Yeah, same with mine. Like, that's where we went when I was little.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like trick-or-treating, but for food.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's kind
There's
of like
something the same about it. Like, you just go down the line.
yeah. Also, my grandparents would sometimes take me trick or treating too. So you know.
There you go.
Yeah.
Full circle.
Yep. Did you carve pumpkins?
Yes, we did. And my dad would bake the pumpkin seeds.
Yes, roast them.
Roast them, yeah.
That was so
That's
good.
the word.
Yes. Bake, roast, same thing.
We did every year. And I did it once or twice, like, after I moved out.
Yeah, me
like,
too.
Just for fun. And then I was like, you know what?
It's so messy.
It's so messy. And
Yeah.
I
remember one year I was doing it with a friend, and the pumpkins were so like massive and thick, like we could not get through it with a knife. Like,
yeah.
we literally brought out a jigsaw, and we're like trying to like jigsaw open this pumpkin, and we were just like, okay, this one.
I mean, you've seen me with a knife too. I'm not the most coordinated person on the planet. So.
Like, I don't know how there are not more pumpkin carving injuries. Like, they used to give us those stupid little serrated like safety knives that just like would saw away. Like, I remember being little and just like hacking away at a pumpkin.
Yeah, the little kit.
Yeah.
The, like, plastic scooper
Yeah,
that doesn't work. You gotta get in there with your hands.
Yeah,
Gotta be messy.
Stringy
Blah.
pumpkin guts.
I don't like it.
No, I don't either. But I love pumpkin seeds.
I do too.
And I love pumpkin flavored anything. Like, call me basic, but like, I am all month of October drinking my morning coffee with like pumpkin spice.
You are. I've never actually had a pumpkin spice latte. I had my first pumpkin spice moment.
Yes.
With your pumpkin spice creamer here.
Yes. Which is pretty darn close to a pumpkin spice latte.
Which was good. I didn't hate it.
Yeah, they're good. It's not overly sweet.
No.
There's like that nice cinnamon and like nutmeg spice to it. So, you know what? Don't hate on it, people. They're delicious. It's a good month, October.
Marty's birthday.
Yeah.
It's our month.
It's a good month. I like this time of year though.
I mean, except like this week has been super hot, but usually it's like good weather. It's like
fall and cozy. Yeah.